Part 3. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 21. Not paying any attention to the group of ninjas who were gradually approaching here, Hyuga Naruto continued. Therefore, what Uchiha has to do is also very simple. On the one hand, it proves that Uchiha will always be Konoha's Uchiha, and the power of Uchiha will only be directed towards outsiders. On the other hand, it proves that the Nine Tails Rebellion 3 years ago was indeed not caused by the Uchiha of Konoha. But how to prove it, Uchiha Shisui said distressedly. No, the biggest problem is not here. Uchiha attack is suddenly asserted. That's right, Hyuga Naruto nodded. The question is not how to prove it, but whether the third generation will give you Uchiha the opportunity and time to prove it. So, the biggest problem, or the biggest obstacle, is the Third Hokage. Uchiha Itachi murmured to himself. He said this without any scruple, which he would have considered rebellious just a few hours ago. Ferret. Shisui looked at Uchiha Itachi absent-mindedly. He felt like he could no longer keep up with the two people's brain circuits. In short, in one sentence, the third generation must step down. Hyuga Naruto said decisively, not caring whether the approaching attackers would hear it. How to do this? Even with Uchiha Itachi's intelligence, he couldn't think of any way. He never thought that one day he would find a way to make a Hokage step down. Violence. Uchiha Itachi said with a frown. Hinata Naruto nodded and shook his head. You can't use violence completely. At least the third generation is still the Hokage on the stage of Konoha. The villagers are not ready to let the third generation go away, and the ninja are not ready to let the third generation die. If possible, Hinata Naruto would like to use another way to explain what he means to Shisui and Itachi. But he is just afraid that they may not understand. What does Hokage mean? In the history of previous lives, there was a word called righteousness. The emperors of the feudal dynasties in previous lives and the shadows of the ninja village in the ninja world all occupied the title of great righteousness innately. In other words, only by stripping away their righteousness little by little can we deal a better blow to them. Zhenji should be backed by strength, but Zhenji should not rely entirely on strength. In terms of strength, was Madara Uchiha strong back then? Strong. In the entire ninja world, except for Senju Hashirama, no one can be taken seriously by him. But what happened? When Uchiha Madara left Konoha, did anyone follow him? In the Uchiha clan, is anyone willing to follow the strongest patriarch in history? No. This is why Hyuga Naruto is willing to say so much to Shisui and Itachi today. It is not that difficult to kill the third generation. But hurry up, the resignation of the third generation is not something he can easily handle alone. The third generation has been acting more and more unscrupulously recently. The villagers and ninjas will gradually see his true face. The more and more people realize the true face of the third generation, the more and more people will stay away from him, and the third generation will become more and more crazy. He is already on the road to self-destruction. Hyuga Naruto's plain tone sounded deafening to Shisui and Itachi. Because we are on the moral side, Itachi's eyes rolled slightly, and he gradually understood something. And our existence is seen as a threat to the third generation. So he will do whatever it takes to get rid of us. In this process, he will gradually become a traitor to everyone. Yes, just like now, Hyuga Naruto said, taking out a seal scroll. Unlocking the seal, he took out 3 gas masks. Put it on before talking. Itachi was startled at first, then thought of something, and put on the gas mask obediently. Shisui looked at the two people who were moving in unison, and could only follow. Shisui, didn't I tell you yesterday that I would watch a good show today? Hinata Naruto had a smile on his face. Yes, it's a good show. A figure gradually came out of the woods in the distance. The voice had a vicious smell. Today, this is the last scene in your lives. Sarutobi Shinoshoku Hyuga Nariku's face was expressionless. The visitor was startled, and then no longer concealed his identity. How did you recognize me without opening your eyes? After saying that, Sarutobi Shinoshoku suddenly thought of something and his eyes narrowed. Did you not turn on your Byakugan at all during yesterday's battle? Until this moment, Sarutobi Shinoshoku remembered that they all ignored one point when they analyzed Hyuga Nariku's battle intelligence yesterday. Forget it, it's not a big deal, you are all going to die today anyway. Sarutobi Shinoshoku said indifferently. Then he suddenly thought of something and sneered. Did you just say that you wanted to drive my father out of office? Just you? Or is it because of the two Uchiha brats around you? What use can you, a slave of the Hyuga branch, and two Uchiha have? Can the Uchiha say a word about the village's affairs? Hyuga Nariku didn't pay attention, and looked at Sarutobi Shinoshoku's eyes without any fluctuation. It was like looking at a dead person. Uchiha Shisui, at this time, finally wiped away the last trace of fantasy in his heart. The Third Hokage didn't want him at all, just as you imagined. Although Uchiha Itachi was only 9 years old, he didn't panic at all when he saw the large number of ninjas approaching. Sarutobi Shinoshoku saw that none of the three people paid attention to him, and felt a little embarrassed for a moment. It seemed that he had been carefully prepared. A play, and then the audience looked at him like a fool. With a slight cough, Sarutobi Shinoshoku changed the question. How did you know that we would use poison, and actually prepared gas masks in advance? Laugh. Hyuga Nariku chuckled. All I need to know is that you will stop at nothing to get me dead. Zishui on the side suddenly realized. Senior Nariku knew that someone wanted to kill him at all costs, and a sneak attack with poison was the best way for them. Shisui thought secretly. So you know we will definitely come to kill you today. Sarutobi Shinoshoku's forehead began to beat. He couldn't understand why Hyuga Nariku didn't hide in the Hyuga tribe if he knew this. Do you think we will be your opponent? Sarutobi Shinoshoku thought of this possibility and said angrily. It seems that you don't know how many people there are this time, Hinata Nariku, you are on the verge of death. Hyuga Nariku chuckled carelessly. In his perception of Byakugan, the number of ninjas around him reached 100. No matter how many ants there are, they can't bite the elephant. These people can probably make me use a little more force. The casual words that made Sarutobi Shinoshoku's veins burst out. Hinata Nariku seemed to have some helplessness and said. Do you think I'm easy to bully? Pulling out the pheasant sword worn on his waist, he resolutely started to roll his eyes. Shisui, you and Itachi protect yourselves. After saying this, Hinata Nariku rushed towards the large group of ninjas. Now that you are here, don't go back. P.S. I have updated a total of 10 chapters today, and I am almost exhausted. I hope readers who like it will vote for it. Use the flower evaluation vote in your hand to support us. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 22. Just as Hinata Nariku rushed out, a figure in the dark moved in another direction. Swish, brush, brush. More than 10 ninjas surrounded Shisui and Itachi. The leader walked out. Without wearing anything to cover up, his face was directly exposed to the outside. I didn't expect that the number 1 master of Uchiha and the son of the clan leader would die here today. Your clan leader Fugaku wouldn't cry to death, right? The leading ninja laughed, not worried that the two of them would escape. Are you a ninja from the Sarutobi clan? Ji Shui looked at the face of the person in front of him and felt that he had seen it before. He tried hard to recall it, and then he pulled out some memories from his mind. The leading ninja was startled, but he was not afraid of being recognized, but said with a sinister smile. I didn't expect that the famous Shunshen Shisui also knew me, but it's useless. Even if you kneel down and beg for mercy now, I will not let you two go. If you want to blame it, just blame the two of you for getting too close to that idiot who split up Hinata's family. Ji Shui frowned. His heart gradually became cold. They are now by the Nanga River, next to a forest. Except for the occasional person who comes here to practice ninjutsu, or someone who comes here to have a picnic or something, usually this place is very few people come. But this place is still within the scope of Konoha village. This group of guys actually gathered so many people and openly wanted to kill people in the village. Before today, Shisui couldn't believe the village. This kind of thing might happen again. But now he couldn't help but not believe it. The other party didn't even hide his identity. How unscrupulous this was. The people who attacked Naruko-senpai yesterday also used ninjutsu that is unique to Konoha. Are you not willing to hide it at all? Shisui asked sternly, his eyes full of anger. Moreover, yesterday Naruko-senpai didn't even say that those who attacked him were members of the root organization, and now you are going to do this again. Among the dozen or so people surrounding the two, there were two ninjas wearing masks. One had blue lines and the other had purple lines. The patterns on the masks were carved into complex shapes. They were not animal masks like Umbu, but it's a mask belonging to the root organization ninja. The leader of the Sarutobi clan ninja sneered and said disdainfully, "Cover up? Do you think you can still run away? As long as I kill you, doesn't it all depend on how we arrange the battlefield? It's useless to tell you this, a dying person, and you." Before he finished speaking, the leading Sarutobi ninja saw Shisui disappear out of thin air and appear in front of him the next second. Bang! A fierce metal collision suddenly sounded. The blue-striped masked ninja next to him had already prepared and took out the short sword barely managed to withstand Shisui's angry blow. What a great power! The hand of the blue-striped masked ninja holding the knife trembled slightly just as Shisui was about to cut his throat. The purple-striped masked ninja next to him rushed towards Shisui. Shisui frowned slightly and stepped back in an instant. You are no match for Shunshen Shisui, so don't get in the way. The purple-striped masked ninja said to the Sarutobi ninja without any emotion. You. The leader of the Sarutobi ninja was furious. This team of people should be commanded by him. But the Sarutobi ninja also understood that the purple-striped masked ninja was right. He had no choice but to retreat to the side and faced Uchiha. Itake. Looking at Uchiha Itake holding the kunao in front of him, the Sarutobi ninja shouted with a ferocious expression. Little brat, please kneel down and surrender to me. I promise to give you a good time. The breeze blew by. Without saying a word, Uchiha Itake slowly opened his Sharingan. The dark Megatama rotated in his scarlet eyes. Have you activated the Nemagatama Sharingan? The Sarutobi ninja said with a vicious smile. It seems that a genius is going to die in my hands. Uchiha Itake was silent for a while, then suddenly said. Are you jealous? What? The Sarutobi ninja was startled. You are jealous of us, Uchiha, jealous of our power, jealous of our bloodline, and... Shut up, you little brat. The Sarutobi ninja roared in anger. He felt as if his whole body had been stripped naked and thrown on the street. He was actually said so by a 9-year-old kid, equivalent to the age of a ninja school student. Our Sarutobi clan is never worse than you, Uchiha. Our Sarutobi clan's fire release is the strongest in Konoha. Art fire escape ho fireball. Sarutobi ninja's murderous intention surged, and he quickly formed seals and said. You are jealous of my talent. Uchiha Itake said these words silently in his heart. At the same time, he formed seals in his hands at a faster speed. The last one came first. A huge fireball with a diameter of 3 or 4 meters quickly took shape and flew towards Sarutobi ninja. Art fire escape ho fireball. Varied. The ninja of the Sarutobi clan looked at the barely formed fireball in front of him. Before he could be surprised, he was directly swallowed by the flames. Inside the Hokage building. The third Hokage and the others are watching the battle here through the crystal ball of the telescope. To be precise, they were paying attention to the battle between Shisui and Itachi. As for Hyuga, who rushed towards the hundreds of ninjas led by Sarutobi Shinashuk like a moth to a flame, they had already regarded him as a dead person. What a pity for these two young men. The third Hokage looked at Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi on the crystal ball, shook his head and said. He didn't think any of these three people could escape today. Who told them to be so close to the scourge Hyuga? Keeping them would be a scourge to the village sooner or later, so why not get rid of them together? Koharu said with a sneer as he turned to bed. Mito Katoyan also nodded in agreement. Except for a ninja from the Sarutobi family, a ninja from the Shimura family and two root ninjas who besieged Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi, the remaining the victims were all him and Koharu's clan members who had moved to bed. More than 10 people surrounded the two of them. Is it possible that they could escape? However, the next second, they saw the ninjas of the Sarutobi family being killed by Uchiha Shisui. Shunshen turned pale with fright and retreated hastily. It seems that the young people in Hiruzen and your clan still need to practice more. Danzo said proudly when he saw his men blocking Shunshen Shisui. The third Hokage opened his mouth, a little embarrassed, he was just careless for a moment. After all, the opponent was Shunshen Shisui. As soon as he finished speaking, the third Hokage saw the ninja of the Sarutobi clan whose defense was broken by Uchiha Itachi, and he took action angrily. The other party is just a child, so it will definitely not be a problem. The third generation said with confidence. Although Uchiha Itachi is a genius, the strength gap caused by age cannot be made up by talent. However, the third generation was soon slapped in the face again, and the Sarutobi ninja's face on the crystal ball, his expression was indescribable shock, and he was instantly drowned by the fire. Bang! The teacup in the hands of the third Hokage was smashed to the ground. Have fun reading books every day during the Dragon Boat Festival, top up 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab the top up now, event time, June 3rd to June 5th. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 23. Uchiha Itachi. The third Hokage roared angrily. Uchiha is indeed not a good person. He obviously has such a talent, but he has to be mixed up with Hyuga, a cancer that harms the village. The same goes for Uchiha Shisui, and so does Uchiha Itachi. None of them have their hearts towards Konoha. An angry growl sounded in the Hokage's office. Hokage-sama, what's going on? The Umbu ninja guarding the door of the Hokage's office knocked on the door and asked in a low voice. He just seemed to hear the sound of something breaking on the ground. Don't come in. Watch your door and don't let anyone in. The third Hokage's high-pitched voice contained anger that could be heard by anyone. The Umbu ninja did not dare to say more and stepped aside. In the office, the third Hokage suppressed his anger and did not continue to vent. The Umbu ninja was completely controlled by Sarutobi. All the forces controlled by the clan have been sent out. The Umbu ninjas currently guarding the outside are outsiders to the third Hokage. They cannot be allowed to know these things. They have already had different intentions towards the village, so it would be a good thing to expose them as soon as possible. Mito. Minoyan comforted him. They can't escape. Even if they win one battle, will they win 10? Can you win 100? Shimura Danzo shook his head. As long as these three people die there today, there is no need to care about anything. Along the Nanga River, the ninja of the Sarutobi clan lay motionless on the ground with burns all over his body. The pupils of the ninjas from the Mitaman clan and the Transfer clan next to them were shocked, and they couldn't help but start to pay attention to this ninja who looked like a child. Cough, cough. The charred Sarutobi clan ninja coughed twice, woke up, and looked at Uchiha Itachi with a face full of resentment. "What are you waiting for? Kill him! Kill him! I want him dead! I want him dead!" All the ninjas looked at each other and took action at the same time. However, Uchiha Itachi's expression did not change at all. With a slight pull of his fingers, an iron net composed of steel wires rose from the ground. "What? When?" A group of people were shocked. They didn't know how Uchiha Itachi did it. These people are so weak. Uchiha Itachi, who quickly formed the seal, thought to himself. He just used the sight of how fireball to arrange the wires, but these people didn't notice it. This fighting quality is probably not even as good as that of a genin. Fire escape, dragon fire technique. The seal was completed, Uchiha Itachi shouted, and several fire dragons rushed along the steel wire and crashed into the group of ninjas. A shrill scream sounded. Soon, the flames dissipated, and a group of Mightaman clan and Tendon clan members, the ninjas, fell to the ground in miserable shapes. Really caught? Uchiha Itachi still couldn't believe it. How did these people live to be so old? Haven't any of them been on the battlefield? Uchiha Itachi held a kunao and walked up to a ninja who seemed to have some strength left with a wary face. You little brat." The Mightaman clan ninja with burnt hair as fluffy as explosions was furious and rushed towards Uchiha Itachi. However, Uchiha Itachi only turned slightly to one side and easily kicked the opponent to the ground. "Haven't you ever been on the battlefield?" Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but ask. The ninjas of the Mito Gate clan looked ferocious and stared at Uchiha Itachi. But they had never been on the battlefield. During the war, they basically stayed in the Land of Fire, and even rarely heading to the border of the Land of Fire. With their fighting qualities, how could they be the opponents of Itachi Uchiha, who entered the battlefield at the age of 4? Never mind. Uchiha Itachi shook his head, hesitated slightly, and slit the ninja's neck. He kept reminding himself that they deserved it. With a cold expression on his face, he killed the group of ninjas who fell on the ground one by one. Finally, he came to the ninja of the Sarutobi family. The ninja of the Sarutobi family was frightened to death. Facing the fear of death, he only had a strong desire to survive in his heart. "Don't kill me, please, let me go, I promise not to report to Hokage-sama, please, let me go." The words stopped abruptly, and the ninja of the Sarutobi clan looked at Uchiha Itachi, who silently slashed his neck, and his last expression before death returned to its previous ferocious appearance. As if asking Uchiha Itachi, "Why kill him?" Ferret. Shisui next to him had also stopped fighting. Besieging him were 2 Root Organization ninjas and a Shimura family ninja. These 3 people were much stronger than those who besieged Itachi, and their cooperation with each other was excellent. The 3 of them have fallen to the ground now, but they are not dead yet. "Brother Shisui, they must die." Uchiha Itachi said something that was not at all appropriate for his age in a childish voice. "If they don't die, they will bite back and say that we attacked them while they were performing their mission." Shisui was silent for a while, then nodded helplessly. Although the other party did something wrong, it was still a bit difficult for him to attack the ninja from the same village. However, they have no way to go after they have already participated. Inside the Hokage's office building, all 4 of them had equally pale faces. Just now, they saw through the crystal ball that Uchiha Shisui made up his mind and killed the 3 ninjas who besieged him. These 2 people are really vicious. The Third Hokage suppressed his anger and roared. Mito Katoyan and Koharu also had resentful faces. They saw with their own eyes that Uchiha Itachi killed their clan members one by one like a chicken. Only Danzo had an expression on his face. He could barely be considered calm. For him, completing the mission was much more important than any clan members or subordinates. He was just a little regretful that he could not complete the mission. Wrong. Duanzo suddenly thought of something. "Why don't they have any reinforcements here?" It's just that the people who besieged Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi were not their opponents. What about the people next to them? Why didn't anyone go up to help? A bad premonition brewed in the hearts of several people. Hiruzen, cut the screen quickly. Koharu urged as they went to bed. The battlefield on the other side might not be as easy as they thought. The picture on the crystal ball flashed, and Hinata Nariku's figure appeared. They thought that Hinata Nariku was under siege by nearly 100 ninjas. Barely dodging was the ultimate, and it was impossible to counterattack. However, the picture on the crystal ball shocked them. Hinata Nariku was not a moth flying into the flame, but a tiger flying into the flock. The tip of the grass pheasant sword was flying. A ninja dies almost every second. The situation is completely opposite to what they thought. It's great to read books on May Day. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 24. Time goes back to before. Almost with a sonic boom, Hinata Nariku rushed to Sarutobi Shinnishuk in the blink of an eye. Sarutobi Shinnishuk was so horrified that his brain couldn't react at all, and he didn't even have time to think about how to avoid it. Puff. Sarutobi Shinnishuk, who had just spoken a word, was easily knocked away by Hyuga Nariku and fell to the ground helplessly. At that moment he had already been tapped. It was clear that only one acupuncture point was tapped, but Sarutobi Shinnishuk found that he could not mobilize chakra no matter what. However, just when Sarutobi Shinnishuk almost closed his eyes in despair, waiting for Hyuga Nariku to come and kill him, he discovered that Hyuga Nariku didn't even look at him, and rushed straight towards the large group of ninjas ahead. Sarutobi Shinnishuk roared angrily and tried to open the blocked acupuncture point, but was unable to do anything. He did not feel lucky to survive the disaster. I just felt Hinata Nariku's naked disregard. It seems that he, the son of the Hokage and the head of Konoha's Umbu, is worthless in the eyes of Hyuga Nariku. Hinata Nariku, on his side, was not in a hurry to kill Sarutobi Shinnishuk, but rushed directly into the crowd like a cannonball. As the grass pheasant sword was swung, blood flowers bloomed in the air. Damn it, who can stop him? Some ninjas yelled angrily, but there was nothing they could do. As for Shinnishuk-sama, it would be nice to have someone to direct you. Damn it, no one is a match for this monster. Facing Hinata Nariku, who became a little more serious, almost no one was an enemy of Ichigo. The formation of nearly 100 ninjas was broken through in a few breaths. From above, it seemed as if a sharp weapon appeared in the middle of the crowd. The sword tore 100-man ninja team into pieces. Some people have begun to resent the Third Hokage. Why should they be allowed to deal with such a monster? You can't kill me. I am a member of the Hokage-sama clan. When a ninja saw Hinata Nariku rushing towards him, he completely lost his fighting spirit and begged for mercy. However, Hinata Nariku had no intention of listening to his nonsense. He grabbed his neck, threw him out and threw the other towards him. The ninjas he rushed towards flew away. While killing opponents one after another with an expressionless expression, Hinata Nariku felt a little emotional. Among these people, the slightly stronger ones seemed to be ninjas from the Root organization, the same indifference. With the same expressionless face. This is the signature style of the Root organization. Those who could barely sustain a move in Hyuga Nariku's hands just now were almost all from the Root organization. Knew it? Danzo's Root organization can compete with Umbu. As an advisory elder, the reason why Danzo's status is one level higher than the other two is because of this. Danzo really has a group of people who can fight. Danzo's role as a troublemaker in the ninja world also requires some strength. In comparison, many ninjas such as Sarutobi, Mitaman, and the Tencho clan have appallingly poor combat experience. Sudden. Hinata Nariku's eyes moved. there were ninjas rushing towards us from both sides in front of us at the same time. Two groups of people stopped more than 10 meters in front of him and formed seals at the same time. Earth escape, earth flow wall. In an instant, layers of earth walls blocked Hinatan Naraku. Finally someone organized a fight. Hinatan Naraku's side. The battle just now was almost completely one-sided. A ninja with strong enough physical skills rushes into an unorganized ninja army, which is like turning on unparalleled mowing. As for Hyuga Naraku, in addition to his yin escape training, what he pays most attention to is physical skills and swordsmanship. The emphasis on physical skills is still higher than fire escape and thunder escape. After all, when you reach the 6th path level, it is difficult for ninjutsu to be effective. Even Amaterasu, who is known as the strongest physical attack, can only be absorbed casually in front of Otsutsuki, who has the samsara eye per person. However, physical skills are always useful. Powerful physical skills can cause damage to enemies at the 6 paths level or even the blood succession snare level. And not all the Otsutsuki clan is like Kaguya, with almost zero combat experience. Like Otsutsuki Momoshiki, if he fights alone, his level of taijutsu will be higher than that of any future Naruto or Sasuke. Chidori sharp spear. Hyuga Naraku stopped slowly, and the lightning spear in his hand easily penetrated multiple earth flow walls. Water escape, the art of waterfall. The earthen wall cracked, and a large group of ninjas on the opposite side had completed the seal formation. With the help of the abundant water vapor by the Nanga River, the waterfall technique jointly performed by dozens of people surged towards Hinatan Naraku like a tsunami. Is that all? Hyuga Naraku slowly formed seals and shouted. The fire escapes, the powerful fire is extinguished. How Huoke, who was much stronger than the 3 ninjas who hit the roots last time, suppressed the surging water. How could it be possible? Some people can't help but feel desperate. How could such a large area of water escape be pushed back by fire escape? In the diffuse water vapor, Hinatan Naraku's figure wandered in the illusion, harvesting lives one by one. Suddenly, it seemed that in the water vapor, someone noticed where Hinatan Naraku was and rushed straight towards the side. After rushing nearby, the person waved his hand and opened a seal scroll. Wow! Explosive charms like snowflakes were flying all over the sky, and the number was definitely more than 100,000. Level. Do you want to use the sealing scroll to isolate yourself from Byakugan's detection? Tisk, such a detonating talisman is far different from Zionin. Hinatan Naraku secretly despised and opened the chakra protective barrier. Boom! Violent explosions continued to sound, and the huge noise spread throughout Konoha. Inside the Hokage building. Danzo, is that your man? The third Hokage said as calmly as possible. There was no sign of him being almost frightened by Hinatan Naraku's performance just now. That's right. Danzo nodded. The person who temporarily took over the command was another ninja from the Nara family in the route. As for the ninja with the detonating talisman seal scroll, he was naturally from the root organization. It was just a waste of a dead soldier who could kill. It won't be a loss if Hyuga Naraku. Why don't you tell us about this? Mito Kadoyan frowned. The explosion just now happened too suddenly, and many ninjas in the water vapor could not escape. Many of them were their clansmen. I didn't expect Sarutobi Shinnishuk to be so unreliable. Danzo said calmly. The third Hokage felt embarrassed to death for a moment. They had already seen Sarutobi Shinnishuk lying on the ground on the other side. Forget it, it would be nice if we could get rid of the scourge of Hinatan Naraku. Sarutobi Hiruzen said to comfort himself. This time, their losses were quite large. There may be less than 20 ninjas who can survive. Mito Kato and Koharu both nodded in agreement. However, on the crystal ball, the dust from the explosion dispersed, and a figure with a light blue chakra barrier around it appeared. It was a great pleasure to read books on May Day. Charge 100, give away 500 VIP coupons. Top up now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 25. This. The Third Hokage's eyes widened with disbelief on their faces. In the picture on the crystal ball, Hinata Nariku, who is surrounded by a light blue chakra barrier, is unscathed. How is this possible? Mito Kadoyan murmured. His eyes were blank, as if he was hallucinating. With more than 100,000 detonating talismans, even if they were to use their full earth escape defense, it would be difficult for them to survive so easily. How strong is Hinata Nariku's strange defense? Shimura Danzo looked gloomy and stared at Hinata Nariku in the crystal ball screen. He already knew yesterday that Hinata Nariku's defense was very strong. That's why he formulated this strategy: use the cover of the seal scroll to shield himself from Byakugan's detection, and prepare a large amount of detonating talismans in advance. Then let a dead man approach Hyuga Nariku, take out the scrolls, and detonate them all, killing Hinata Nariku directly. If you're lucky, Hinata Nariku may be killed before he has time to activate his defense. Even with a little bit of luck, Hinata Nariku activated his defense. More than 100,000 detonating talismans should be able to kill him. Even if it doesn't kill you, at least he should be allowed to have his internal organs displaced by the concussion of the explosion and vomit blood and fall to the ground, right? How could it be like this now? Can we still get rid of him? Koharu said in confusion as he went to bed. With such a defense, can the few remaining people on the field really break Hinata Nariku's defense? The rest of them also felt their hearts sinking. Wrong. Danzo suddenly shouted. There's no way he's okay. If the explosion had no effect on him at all, he shouldn't be standing where he is right now. If he is really fine, he will definitely take advantage of others to relax their vigilance and then carry out a sneak attack. He must be at the end of his tether now. The Third Hokage and several others were startled, thought for a moment, and nodded in unison. They also felt that what Danzo said made sense. He must have suffered internal injuries. The root ninja of the Nara clan who is responsible for directing the battle concluded. Putting himself in his shoes, if he were standing in Hinata Nariku's position now, if he was not affected by the explosion, he would definitely seize the opportunity to attack. It turns out this bastard was bluffing. A ninja next to him breathed a sigh of relief. He was so frightened that he ran away just now. If Hinata Nariku couldn't be killed by such a violent explosion, he couldn't see any chance of defeating this monster. The other ninjas who could still fight could not. They all nodded in agreement. This guess is indeed logical and convincing. You bastard! After killing so many of us, have you figured out how to die? A ninja from the Sarutobi clan jumped out and couldn't wait to pull out his short sword and slash at Hinata Nariku. As long as he kills Hinata Nariku, the biggest credit today will be his. Tisk. The sound of the sword entering flesh. Hinata Nariku just gently he raised his sword and saw that the throat of this young bird was pierced by the sword. Brush. Hinata Nariku pulled out his long sword and shook off the blood on the sword, as if he was disgusted. The expression of the ninja of the Sarutobi clan was frozen. In the last scene, I only had time to think of one last thought. Isn't he at the end of his strength? Don't let him fool you, he doesn't even dare to move, he must have suffered serious internal injuries. A ninja shouted loudly. Immediately, many people rushed forward together, trying to take down Hinata Nariku's head. You guys. Hinata Nariku wanted to laugh. These people are really thoughtful. With the strength of his Yinjutsu, the strength of the chakra armor constructed is Susanoo level. After all, the essence of Susanoo is to use a large amount of chakra to form physical armor based on Yinjutsu. The kaleidoscope has undergone a qualitative change, and the yin escape serves as the skeleton to condense the body. A lot of chakra as flesh and blood. The two are filled together to form the Susanoo of the Uchiha clan. The most important one is the yin escape that can condense a body from scratch. As for the Uchiha clan, they can only activate the Susanoo by turning on the kaleidoscope, which has undergone a qualitative change in yin escape strength. With the strength of the yin escape that he can expect from his current reincarnation, the defense of the chakra armor formed is even higher than that of an ordinary Susanoo. Okay, then I will shatter your illusions bit by bit. After whispering, Hinata Naruko moved. The speed was faster than before. Puff. A ninja flew out upside down and looked at Hinata Naruko, who had become stronger. He was inexplicably shocked. Damn it, did he use some secret technique to explode his strength? Someone cursed secretly. The Akimichi clan of Inaludi has such a pill. However, if you take it forcibly, your life will be in danger. That's for sure. He couldn't hold on any longer, so he could only use this desperate method. Some people nodded confidently. If this were not the case, it would be impossible to explain why Hinata Naruko became stronger after being injured. Could it be because he was playing tricks on them before? How is this possible? Hold on. Once the effect of this medicine on him wears off, we'll all attack him together and kill him. However, the remaining people found in despair that fewer and fewer of their people were being killed. Damn it, hasn't the effect of his medicine worn off yet? What kind of forbidden technique is this? Monster. He is a monster. Someone had an earth-colored face and turned around to run away. Wait, he backed away. Someone shouted, with irrepressible surprise in his voice. He finally couldn't hold it any longer. This bastard, I can't just kill him so easily. I have to torture him to survive or die. The few people left seemed to burst out with joy as if they had survived a disaster. Hyuga Naruko on the opposite side stopped, stood there, and looked at the sky slightly. The water vapor created by the battle between Shui Dun and Huo Dun just now has been absorbed by the heat brought by the explosion of the detonating talisman swept into the air. The sky had become dark clouds. Hinata Naruko raised his hand gently, as if he was pulling something. What is he doing? The remaining people were confused. The power that Hinata Naruko had just exploded was so amazing that they were so frightened by Hinata Naruko's appearance that they stayed in place. No one dared to rush forward and take action. Clouds, something doesn't seem right. Someone said with a trembling voice. My body couldn't stop shaking. Among the dark clouds, thunder appears faintly. This couldn't be his ninjutsu, right? How can it be? He is a man, not a god. How could such a thing be done? Others subconsciously retorted. It's really because the power of thunder in the clouds is too amazing. This is the power of nature. The power of a natural disaster. Thunder escape, Kylin. Hyuga Naruko pulled the thunder and lightning, and shouted in seals. Roar. The ferocious thunder beast broke through the dark clouds, overlooked the earth, and made a heart-stopping roar. He wasn't hurt at all. The face of the person below was whitened by the thunder and lightning, almost desperate. The devil, he is the devil. The remaining people subconsciously wanted to escape, but facing the huge thunder beast, they didn't know where to escape. Roar. With the roar that resounded throughout Konoha, the ferocious thunder beast Kirin fell on the ground and wreaked havoc. 5. It will be a great pleasure to read the book. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, April 29th to May 3rd. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 26. The ferocious thunder beast Kylin roams the earth, rewriting the terrain wantonly. A large tree tens of meters high, hugged by several people, was as fragile as duckweed in a flood in the face of this natural disaster-like force. Even the desperate shouts of the ninja below were covered up by the roar of the thunder beast. Is this the true strength of Senior Naraku? Uchiha Itachi stayed away and looked at the battle here. The battle between him and Shisui was over. Uchiha Itachi wanted to go up to Hinata Naraku, but was stopped by Shisui. Shisui nodded, and then shook his head. Even in the most dangerous situation that Naraku-senpai and I faced during the mission, I never saw Naraku-senpai really use his full strength. Isn't this not all-out effort? Uchiha Itachi was stunned, looking at the thunder beast Kylin wandering on the earth. On the battlefield ahead, the raging thunder and lightning cleared an open space several kilometers in radius. This kind of thunder escape can be called a terrifying level, plus the addition just now the powerful fire that suppressed the waterfall technique of a dozen people was destroyed. Itachi Uchiha suddenly, a ridiculous idea came to mind. Could it be that Hinata Naraku belongs to their Uchiha clan? Otherwise, why are fire release and thunder release so easy to use? Ahead, Hinata Naraku, who was sure to clean up the traces, dispersed the terrifying Kirin. Huge chakra returns between heaven and earth. There are only a few left. Hinata Naraku turned his attention to the four figures on the other side. Sarutobi Shinashuk, and three other ninjas. Hinata Naraku stood there, watching quietly as several people walked towards him. Hinata Naraku. Sarutobi Shinashuk roared, his eyes full of hatred and killing intent. Just now, the three ninjas next to him worked together and spent a lot of effort to open his blocked acupuncture points. However, before Sarutobi could, when Tobi Shinashuk started to fight back, he saw a scene that horrified him. Hyaga Naraku holding the thunder beast in his hands seemed like the god of thunder descending on the world. He, who had just been able to mobilize chakra, could only evade in a hurry. Such talent, such strength, such ninjutsu, why is it not mine? Sarutobi Shinashuk is crazy jealous. He is jealous of the talents of geniuses like Hyaga Naraku and Heitake Kakashi. He is jealous of the talents of the late Namikaze Minato. Long before Namikaze Minato became the Hokage, since Konoha White Fang Heitake Sakuo after Shigeru's death, he had already served as the minister of Konoha. However, in terms of qualifications, strength, and prestige, he was far inferior to Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato was able to be as senior as his teacher at an age in his early 20s. Orochimaru competed for Hokage and even defeated Orochimaru. But he was not even qualified to become a Hokage candidate. This kind of strength should not appear in a slave of the Hyaga branch like you. If I had such strength, I would already be the Hokage of Konoha. Roaring wildly twice, Sarutobi Shinashuk's suppressed emotion seemed to be relieved a lot. I'm curious as to why you didn't kill me before. Sarutobi Shinashuk is really puzzled. He is also an elite jonin after all. Although he can't beat Heitake Sakumo, Namikaze Minato, Orochimaru, Hyaga Naraku, and his Umbu captain Kakashi Heitake. But his strength should be able to pose a threat to Hyaga Naraku. Why is Hyaga Naraku so dismissive of him? Do you think you can run away? Hyaga Naraku asked. Interesting scenes, of course you have to stay behind and enjoy them. As for Naruto, Hyaga Naraku smiled disdainfully and said, if you are not Sarutobi Hiruzen's son, who are you? At what level do you dare to covet the position of Hokage? What are you pretending to be? Sarutobi Shinashuk roared with red eyes. He hated people saying that to him the most. When everyone mentions him, they first think that he is the son of the third Hokage, not Sarutobi Shinashuk, Konoha's minister. Do you think I can't see it? Sarutobi Shinashuk sneered. Hinata Naraku was stunned and didn't understand what it meant. What did he see? After using such a powerful wide area ninjutsu just now, you must have very little chakra left, right? Seeing Hinata Naraku's correct expression, Sarutobi Shinashuk became more and more convinced. This is why Sarutobi Shinashuk dares to stand here now. He fought nearly 100 people in succession and used such terrifying ninjutsu. Hinata Nariku must have run out of gas now. Inside the Hokage building, the Third Hokage and others also had the same idea. I wonder if Shinashuk can successfully get rid of this scourge. The Third Hokage was inexplicably worried. Hundreds of people went, but now only 4 people are left. In order to get rid of Hinata Nariku, they really spent a lot of money this time. Don't worry, Hiruzen, Danzo said confidently. Although the ninjutsu Hinata Nariku just performed may seem terrifying, it was actually done using the power of nature. Therefore, it is impossible for him to be so strong just by relying on his own strength. Moreover, Danzo continued, using natural power to release ninjutsu also shows that he does not have much chakra anymore, so he can only use this tricky method. He will definitely die today, no one can save him. The Third Hokage nodded. What Danzo said does make sense. However, there was still an inexplicable worry in his heart that lingered. By the Nanga River, Sarutobi Shinashuk looked at Hinata Nariku with extremely angry eyes. What's that look in your eyes? It's like teasing a child, just be happy. It's useless no matter how much you pretend. Sarutobi Shinashuk quickly formed seals and exploded with all his strength. I will send you to hell with my own hands. Fire escape, fire hits Yagura. Huh. A flame giant more than 10 meters high quickly took shape. This is the strongest fire escape ninjutsu of their Sarutobi clan. It is also the strongest move of Sarutobi Shinashuk. Not bad. Hyuga Nariku nodded slightly and commented. Sarutobi Shinashuk heard the tone of Hinata Nariku's teacher commenting on his students, and was so angry that he exploded. On the spot, he was about to control the flame giant to kill Hinata Nariku. Suddenly, a figure passed through his body. The fire giant thrust his sword at him from behind. Hinata Nariku's whole body was wrapped in light blue light, and it directly penetrated the fire giant, which was more than 10 meters high. Under the rapid momentum, the fire giant was like a fragile toy. Ordinarily, he was torn to pieces. Sarutobi Shinashuk's pupils shrank suddenly, and he almost collapsed to the ground, and he was about to run away. The next second, the cold sword blade was across his neck. You're like this, and you still want to be Hokage. Hyuga Nariku looked at Sarutobi Shinashuk, who was almost fainted from fear, with disdain. Boom! The window of the Hokage building exploded directly. The Third Hokage did not go to the main entrance, but rushed out of the window as quickly as possible. Come out! Danzo mistook me. There are so many analyses, but none of them are reliable. The Third Hokage's face was as heavy as water, and he rushed straight towards the Nanga River. It's great to read books on May Day. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 29th to May 3rd. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 27. Sarutobi Shinashuk didn't dare to move. He didn't expect that the strongest fire escape ninjutsu he was proud of would be so fragile in front of Hyuga Nariku. A few seconds ago, he was still confident that this move could definitely kill Hinata Nariku. In the blink of an eye, the situation was completely reversed. You. Sarutobi Shinashuk looked at Hinata Nariku and was speechless. He wanted to ask, shouldn't Hinata Nariku have no chakra? Why do you still have such strength? Let go of Shinashuk-sama. A ninja next to him rushed over. Although he was also afraid of Hinata Nariku's strength, he had to take action. If the Third Hokage knew that his son was dead, but he stood aside and did nothing, God knows what would happen ending. Hinata Nariku's expression remained unchanged. The Kusanagi sword in his right hand was still on Sarutobi Shinashuk's neck. Chidori sharp spear. Lifting his left hand slightly, the bright blue lightning spear shot out, suddenly piercing the heart of the charging ninja. This The only two ninjas left next to them looked at each other. How could Hyuga Naruto still be able to use ninjutsu? How could he still have chakra? This is so unreasonable. He was obviously Hinata. Not Senju. Not Uzumaki. You two, come and save me quickly. Seeing another person fall, Sarutobi Shinichuk finally couldn't hold himself any longer. All the pride in his heart was gone. If you dare to escape, my father will not let you go. Normally, Sarutobi Shinichuk would never have imagined that one day he would shout out such words to ask for help. The two ninjas looked at each other with helplessness. After calming down, they rushed towards Hinata Naruto on the left and right sides. Do you think anyone can save you? Hyuga Naruto was not worried. He quickly killed a ninja with the Chidori sharp spear in his left hand, and then with his backhand, he struck the ninja on the right with a single blow of the Bagua air palm and knocked the ninja on the right unconscious. Okay, now you are the only one left. You can't kill me. If you kill me, my father will never let you go. Sarutobi Shinichuk said, half begging for mercy and half threatening. Why do you Sarutobi clan like to say such things? Hyuga Naruto asked with great interest. Do you think that since your family has a Hokage, everyone should listen to you? Sarutobi Shinichuk was startled. Isn't this a matter of course? Who dares to disobey the Hokage's orders? Who dares to offend the Hokage? As long as his father decides on anything, who else can object? Even the root leader Danzo, the most I can do is say Hiruzen, you will regret it, and then leave angrily. Also, you said Sarutobi Hiruzen would not let me go. Hyuga Naruto only felt funny. Have you ever thought about letting me go? Didn't you just want me to die from the beginning so that I could serve Union Village more easily? What do you think you are here to do today? Could it be that there are more than 100 of you here for an outing? What's more, you already sent people to attack me once yesterday, and this is the second time today. You will definitely kill me at any cost, I already know this. Did you already know this? Sarutobi Shinichuk was startled. Suddenly, he recalled that Hyuga Naruto had even prepared a gas mask in advance. Not only did he guess that someone would come to kill him, he even guessed that they would try to assassinate him with poison. By the way, Hyuga Naruto, I didn't even open my Byakugan to recognize him with his face covered. How did you recognize me? You didn't even open your eyes before. Sarutobi Shinichuk was horrified. It doesn't matter if I tell you, I will be a wise man after death. Hyuga Naruto looked at the Hokage building in the distance. There is also a difference in intensity between the white eyes. The pupil power, or the yin escape, is strong enough that you can see a lot of things without opening the Byakugan with the seal. That's why I can recognize that it's you, Sarutobi Shinichuk, behind the mask. And after turning on the white eyes, Hinata Naruto looked at the chakra coming closer and closer in the distance. The owner of this chakra came straight from the Hokage building. The whole village is within my sight. I can see your father, Danzo, and the others huddled in the Hokage's office, peering through the crystal ball. Sarutobi Shinichuk was horrified. What they thought was a secret move turned out to be like running naked in Hinata Naruto's eyes. I can also see that your old father is now rushing towards this direction at the fastest speed he may have had in many years. In the sight of Hinata Naruto's Byakugan, in the direction from the Hokage tower to here, 4 different chakras appeared one after another. The one at the front was the third Hokage, who came out first. Danzo and the 3 of them followed. Behind, there are many chakras coming from different places in Konoha, rushing towards this side. The previous explosion of the detonating talisman and the roar of the thunder beast have spread throughout Konoha. Come to think of it, all the major ninja clans, someone will come over to check on the situation. My father is on his way over. Sarutobi Shinichuk was ecstatic. He suddenly saw the hope of survival. As long as his father arrives, who else dares to kill him? Even Sarutobi Shinnashook looked at Hinatan Naraku with resentment in his eyes. Hinatan Naraku, he must die today. Yes, he is less than 100 meters away from here. Hyuga Naraku nodded with a smile and said, so, you can go and die. After saying that, he didn't care about Sarutobi Shinnashook's suddenly widened eyes, and stabbed his sword through the throat. The chakra reaction of the Third Hokage was already close at hand. Facing the corpses of the last 4 people, Hyuga Naraku slowly formed seals. Hinatan Naraku, stop. The Third Hokage, who was running over, suddenly felt a surge of heart. Before the person arrived, the voice came over first. The fire escapes, the powerful fire is extinguished. The overwhelming flames destroyed the last traces. Whoosh! The third generation fire image was like a strong monkey, rushing out of the woods. The flames of the powerful fire had just dissipated, leaving only 4 charred remains on the ground. The Third Hokage only felt that his brain was a little dizzy, as if he was deprived of oxygen. An uncontrollable anger surged into his heart. Hinatan Naraku. With a roar at the top of his lungs, the Third Hokage rushed directly towards Hinatan Naraku. It's great to read books on May Day. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Grab a deposit now. Event time, April 29th to May 3rd. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 28. Hyuga Naraku was not surprised by the Third Hokage's appearance and reaction. In other words, he had been waiting for this moment. During the battle with Sarutobi Shinnashook, not only the Third Hokage and the others were watching through the crystal ball. Hinatan Naraku has also been paying attention to the movements at the Hokage building. He was certain that just after he put the Kusanagi sword against Sarutobi Shinnashook's throat, the 3 o'clock Hokage was so anxious that he jumped out of the window. As for the rest, the most important reason why Hyuga Naraku is willing to talk so much nonsense to Sarutobi Shinnashook is, he wants to wait for the Third Hokage to come over. And Hinatan Naraku, who sensed the approach of the Third Hokage, sent Sarutobi Shinnashook on his way without hesitation. So much so. When the Third Hokage arrived, he could only see the flames reaching into the sky, drowning the few people who fell on the ground. Let me ask. How could the Third Hokage not go berserk when he saw such a scene with his own eyes? Not only was his son killed, he was also burned to death by someone else, leaving only the charred remains. Even the Third Hokage, who was not on the side of truth, couldn't help but want to kill Hyuga Naraku on the spot. In the center of the battlefield, faced with the angry blow from the Third Hokage, Hyuga Naraku did not fight back, but just dodged sideways lightly. Third generation, why did you attack me? Hyuga Naraku's tone showed that he seemed to respect the Third Hokage very much. He even used the title you. Sarutobi Hiruzen suddenly stopped before he could strike with a single blow. He stared at people with eyes that were selective and devouring. Looking at Hinatan Naraku. He had been looking around for a week just now, but he found that the 4 corpses swallowed by the flames could no longer tell who the original owners were. In other words, he could not even distinguish the charred corpses on the ground. Which one is his son's? As for Hyuga Naraku's respectful tone towards him, he simply ignored it. He knew better than anyone what Hinatan Naraku's attitude towards him was. The high-level meeting a few days ago on the topic, Hyuga Naraku even dared to openly declare that he, the Hokage, had betrayed the will of fire. The Third Hokage knew very well that Hyuga Naraku's respectful tone reflected how treasonous his view was. After 2 seconds of silence, the Third Hokage he bit his finger and said, "Psychic art." The psychic beast monkey demon wearing tiger skin clothing appeared with a bang. It has an indestructible body and is known as the strongest psychic beast monkey demon. Of course, Hinatan Naraku feels that this strongest is like the third generation of Hokage is the strongest Hokage, so it must be put in quotation marks. Just to give a random example. Slug Sage of the Shift Bone Forest, sometimes he also appears as a psychic beast. Tsunade of the Konoha Sunin signed a contract with the Slug of the Shift Bone Forest. He signed a psychic contract. Hyuga Nariku didn't know how strong Slug Immortal was, but he knew one thing. Slug Immortal has lived for thousands of years. This age means strength. He is as powerful as Senju Hashirama, and Uchiha Madara could not withstand the erosion of time and died of old age. Uchiha Madara, who had opened his eyes of reincarnation, could only look forward to the day when Nagato would use the art of reincarnation as he planned. He was resurrected. It is conceivable that the strength of the Slug Immortal, who has been alive since the Kagaya era thousands of years ago, must not be underestimated. The slugs that Tsunade usually channels are just clones of the Slug Immortal. No one has ever been able to channel the complete Slug Immortal. The spirit comes out. Even if someone says that Slug Sage is as big as the 10 tails, Hyuga Nariku may believe it. In comparison, the monkey demon, known as the strongest psychic beast, is like the strongest Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Somewhat unworthy of the name. Sarutobi, what's going on? The ape demon looked at the messy battlefield and said in surprise. Stop asking, quickly transform into a Vajraruyi stick. Sarutobi Hiruzen urged with a gloomy expression and a cold face. The monkey demon frowned. He felt that Sarutobi has gone too far in the past few years. This is true from all aspects. He seems to be getting darker and darker. His attitude towards him is getting worse and worse. He is the contracted psychic beast of Sarutobi Hiruzen, not a slave. However, looking at the decades of friendship between the two, the monkey demon still transformed with a bang. The Third Hokage held the Vajraruyi stick, his eyes were sinister, and he shouted. Hinatan Nariku, die. Hinatan Nariku calmly used the Kusanagi sword to hold the angry stick of the Third Hokage. While avoiding the attack as if nothing had happened, he kept saying. Third generation, did you make a mistake? Why on earth did you attack me? I encountered a large number of unknown ninja attacks today. I just killed them all and was about to report to you. The Third Hokage's eyes turned red and his expression became more fierce. Unknown ninja attack. Killed them all? You still want to report to yourself as the Hokage? What do you want to report to me? Did you say that you just killed my son? The Third Hokage became even more angry and attacked crazily and randomly. Hee. Hyuga Nariku chuckled inwardly without caring. His Byakugan had already seen that many chakra reactions were already approaching here. It was not just the Third Hokage and Danzo. People from all the major ninja clans were also coming here. The fighting here just now was heard by all Konoha. The chiefs of the major ninja clans who guessed something will come here to check the situation. Hokage-sama, stop it, you must have made a mistake. Hyuga Nariku's tone was sincere. The Third Hokage stood aside panting, his face extremely ugly. His eyes were fixed on the sword in Hyuga Nariku's hand, and he couldn't help being surprised. This sword could be easily taken. The swing of his Vajra wishful stick. Could it be the divine weapon, the grass pheasant sword? How could such a treasure appear in the hands of a miscellaneous fish like Hyuga Nariku, who is separated from the Hyuga family? Misunderstand. The Third Hokage sneered and rushed over again. Hiruzen, stop. Someone yelled and rushed over to stop the Third Hokage. It was none other than Danzo, who came here right behind the Third Hokage. Mito Kato and Koharu, who had transferred to the dormitory, were a step slower and quickly followed. Hiruzen, don't attack carelessly. Mito Gate Flame also stopped the rampaging Sarutobi Hiruzen. The group of clan leaders have arrived. When he went to bed, Koharu's face was livid, and he looked at the chiefs of the major ninja clans who arrived on the battlefield one by one. Uchiha Fugaku, Hinata Hisashi, Abarame Shimai, Nara Shikaku, Yamanaka Hiki. The heads of the ninja clan, big and small, are almost gathered together. It can be said that setting up a table here can directly hold a high-level meeting. However, the major clan heads are not in the mood to hold a meeting here. They who just arrived, all he saw was the angry and even mad Sarutobi Hiruzen, and Shimura Danzo, Mito Kato and Koharu who were trying to stop him. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Kumogakure forced me, and the Third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 29. Hiruzen, calm down, in front of everyone, you can't kill people randomly. Danzo whispered to Hiruzen Sarutobi, who was still furious and mad. It was simply unimaginable that such words came from Danzo's mouth. However, Danzo did think so. Without where there are people, you can assassinate at will, no matter how extreme the method is. But to kill in public, there must be a suitable reason. Killing in public without any reason, not even the Hokage. Therefore, they can even send hundreds of people. The team came to attack Hyuga. But after the clan leaders of each ninja clan arrived, they had to stop. They even had to maintain a superficial peace with Hyuga. In fact, if they had Hyuga in their hands now, if there is concrete evidence of endangering the village, Danzo will definitely be the first to take action and kill Hyuga on the spot. And after killing Hinata, whether it is a personal grudge or a public matter, as long as he endangers the village Hyuga, the evidence was brought out, and everyone was speechless. However, the problem now is, although they have been saying that Hinata is a scourge to the village, a cancer that harms the village, and an unruly person who misinterprets the will of fire, there is no evidence that Hyuga city actually harmed the village. Therefore, even Danzo had to stop the Third Hokage who wanted to kill people in public. The clan leaders watched as they were being stopped and gradually calmed down the angry Third Hokage. Confused. Why are you so angry? Here. Hyuga Hayashi looked at the ruined forest for several kilometers and opened his eyes directly. Rizo clan leader, what did you see? Someone looked at Hinata and Hinata curiously. What could make the head of the Hyuga clan so surprised? Corpse Hyuga his face was full of shock. This number is enough for hundreds of corpses. Hiss. All the major clan leaders took a breath of air. Hundreds of people? Died here? They just saw the four burnt remains in front of them, and did not notice what was in the distance. The land with a radius of several kilometers was like it was pricked by some ancient giant beast, and the terrain was completely destroyed. A melee between hundreds of people actually happened here? This is a village. What happened? Father. Zisui and Itachi, who had been hiding far away before, rushed over. Itachi. Shisui. Uchiha Fugaku was surprised. He didn't expect that his son and the clan's top master Shisui were also here. Itachi, Shisui, what happened here? Uchiha. Fugaku asked hurriedly. Just as Uchiha Shisui was about to speak, Uchiha Itachi beat him to it. We were attacked. Itachi didn't say who attacked him. Hyuga took the words and said. We were attacked by a large number of unknown ninjas. The corner of Uchiha Fugaku's mouth twitched. Unknown ninja attack. Why are these words so familiar? Did he just hear it yesterday? Soon, Uchiha Fugaku realized. The same words today and yesterday mean it happened again today. The same thing. The Third Hokage and Danzo arranged for people to attack Hinata again today. And this time, they even involved his son and Shisui, trying to kill them together. Uchiha Fugaku's expression instantly became very ugly. Who attacked you? Someone asked next to me. I don't know, maybe he's a spy from another village, Hyuga replied casually. A group of people looked at each other. Spies from other villages? Only a ghost would believe such a thing. It would be fine if the three people who attacked Hinata yesterday were Kumogakure spies. Today. Hundreds of them. They are all from other villages. A spy? What a joke. If this is true, Konoha might as well change its name. From now on it will be called the brewery, and it will be a base for training talents for other villages. Danzo-sama, these must be spies from other villages, right? Hyuga Nariku asked Danzo. Danzo was startled, then nodded, and said, "According to my judgment, these people are indeed spies from other villages." The third Hokage was stunned, and then stared at Danzo fiercely. However, Danzo had no intention of changing his story. These people must now be spies from other villages. Otherwise, what should I say? Sarutobi Shinnishuk led 100 people to execute mission, and then was killed by Hyuga Nariku? Only a fool would believe it. What kind of mission requires taking 100 people out at once? Still in a place like this? An outing mission? Danzo was even lucky that Hinata Nariku would take everyone's external. All the features have been completely destroyed. So much so that none of the corpses lying on the ground looked familiar to the clan leaders. Hyuga Nariku chuckled. He knew that Danzo and the others would answer this way. Maybe someone would guess. When the third generation came, they sent people to assassinate him, but they couldn't say this openly. Of course, he could also not clear the traces and let everyone see clearly, it was Sarutobi Shinnishuk who brought people to kill him. But, it's just a matter of his Hyuga Nariku. The third generation and others want to kill him too. Uchiha Shisui and Uchiha Itachi at most. Just based on this kind of thing, these clan leaders will resent the third generation and hate the third generation, but they may not be willing to help him deal with the third Hokage. In other words, their hatred for the third Hokage is not enough. However, after such a thing, there should be few ninjas in the village who will like the third Hokage. Moreover, Hyuga Nariku, I don't intend to let the third generation and the others just end up like that. Third generation, sir, there are so many spies from other villages hiding in this village. This kind of thing must be investigated carefully. Hyuga Nariku said righteously. The third Hokage gradually regained his composure at this time and understood Danzo's intention just now. He stared at Hyuga Nariku as if he were looking at a dead person and said, "I'll have the root organization check it out. The third generation of adults." Hinata Nariku's tone was urgent. So many spies have been sneaked into the village. Where are the Umbu? Where are the Umbu responsible for defending the village? We must ask Shinnishuk-sama to find out what went wrong. Boom. The third Hokage, who had gradually calmed down, quickly became angry again. Kumogakure forced me, and the third Hokage persuaded me to die. Author, Uchiha Hokage. Chapter 30. Hiruzen. Danzo shouted, and once again grabbed the third Hokage, who was about to go berserk. At the same time, he was extremely speechless at Hinata Nariku's words. What does it mean to ask Sarutobi Shinnishuk to check it out? What else can he check? Isn't he already lying on the ground? Yet. Day, towards, nay, fall. The third Hokage engraved these words in his heart. I wish I could cut Hinata Nariku into pieces with 1,000 knives. Hinata Nariku, that bastard, was clearly trying to provoke him on purpose. The clan leaders next to him felt baffled. Why did Sande go berserk again? Wait, that's not right. The leader of the Nara clan, Nara Shikaku, had an idea flash in his mind. If the third generation arranged for someone to attack Hyuga Nariku today, and the number of people in this attack team reached hundreds of people. Nara Shikaku, who is known as Konoha's strategist and has commanded many large-scale battles, quickly thought of something. A team with so many people must have a command system and a top commander. Only in this way can the strength of these more than 100 people be brought into full play. To do such a disgraceful thing as secretly attacking Hyuga Nariku, the Supreme Commander must have two requirements. First, he must be someone whom the third generation and others can trust. This disgraceful thing cannot be allowed to be known to outsiders. Second, this person must have the prestige to command these hundreds of people. The sum of these two conditions. Narashikaku quickly came up with the answer in his mind. Sarutobi Shinoshuke. There are many other evidences to support this answer. For example, it is clearly Konoha and Byubu, such a big thing has happened, but Sarutobi Shinoshuke has not arrived at the scene yet. For example, Hyuga Nariku just mentioned Sarutobi Shinoshuke's name, and the third Hokage went berserk. Maybe it's not that Sarutobi Shinoshuke can't come, but that he's already here. Narashikaku thought silently in his heart. There are hundreds of corpses here, and I don't know which one belongs to Sarutobi Shinoshuke. I think after the third Hokage returns, he will have to check carefully to find out which one of them is his son. This guy. Narashikaku's lazy eyes looked at Hinata Nariku, who spoke sincerely. Are the Hyuga clan going to compete with the third Hokage? Wrong. Looking at Hinata Hisashi, who was obviously no one else, Narashikaku sighed in his heart. Maybe it's just Hyuga Nariku who wants to challenge the third generation. By the way, where is Shinoshuke-sama? Hinata. Nariku looked around and said confused. Such a big thing happened, why hasn't Mr. Shinoshuke come yet? Why didn't any Umbu come? The third Hokage clenched his fists, wishing to kill people on the spot. Why didn't the Umbu come? The only ones who can directly command the Umbu without a mission are Hiruzen Sarutobi and Shinoshuke Sarutobi. However, the third Hokage just jumped out of fear. Come through the window. Although the Umbu heard a lot of noise, they did not dare to leave their posts without the Hokage's order. As for the other Sarutobi Shinoshuke who could directly command the Umbu, he was already lying on the ground. Shinoshuke is just busy with business and is temporarily delayed. Don't think too much. The third Hokage said with a livid face. At this time, even the dullest people present understood. I am afraid that Sarutobi Shinoshuke has not been delayed for a while, but has been delayed here for a lifetime. What happened today cannot be from other villages. What the spies did was an attack and killing by a team of hundreds of people led by Sarutobi Shinoshuke. The attack and killing of Hyuga Nariku. However, the killing failed. Sarutobi Shinoshuke and these more than 100 ninjas were killed by Hyuga Nariku. Hinata Nariku looked at the expression of the third Hokage and sneered in his heart. Before going to kill him, he should be prepared to be killed. If he was killed by Sarutobi Shinoshuke, the third Hokage would probably just clap his hands and cheer. Now, the one who was killed was Sarutobi Shinoshuke, and the third Hokage made this expression. He was only allowed to kill himself, but others were not allowed to fight back. And if others fought back, they felt unforgivable. What kind of gangster logic is this? It turns out that Shinoshuke-sama was temporarily delayed, Hyuga Nariku said in a profound tone. However, it is also true that the Umbu's defense work is not good. I also hope that Lord Hokage will let the Umbu investigate the matter thoroughly and give the village an explanation. Investigate the devil thoroughly. A group of people are speechless. Everyone is dead. Who else are we going to investigate? Who else are we asking to investigate? Wrong, Nara. Shikaku suddenly thought of a creepy question. Is Sarutobi Shinoshuke really dead? Dead, but not dead in a way. He is said to be dead because it is a fact and everyone thinks so. They said he was not dead because no one would say that Sarutobi Shinoshuke was dead. For the third generation and Danzo, the person who died here should be a spy from another village today. At least, that's what the village's record of this incident would say. So the question is, what should the village do about Sarutobi Shinoshuke's ninja record? Is he dead? Not dead. At least according to Sarutobi Shinoshuke's ninja record, he's not dead. Even if everyone present knew that Sarutobi Shinoshuke was dead, they also all knew that he was killed by Hyuga Nariku. However, no one would write this on Sarutobi Shinoshuke's ninja records. After today, the Umbu minister will be replaced, and the eldest son of the third Hokage will disappear from the public eye. However, no one will care about where this person has gone. Everyone present will keep silent about him from now on. There is no need to consider the eldest son of the Third Hokage for anything. This is death in a completely different sense. It was as if Sarutobi Shinnishuk had been wiped out of the world. So, in the eyes of the uninformed, it looked like this. Sarutobi Shinnishuk, the son of the Third Hokage and the Umbu minister of Konoha, disappeared. Suddenly disappeared. Suddenly he disappeared from the public eye. Even if you look up Sarutobi Shinnishuk's ninja records, there will be no records. In other words, from today onwards, Sarutobi Shinnishuk. Sorry, this person has not been found. P.S. I had some delays today, so there are 9 updates in total. I hope readers who like it can vote with their data to support it. Reading books on May Day is a joy.